Do you think that they... Vive la révolution! 1, 2, 3, fanculo!
Ooh, Chainsaw Man. Have you seen it?
Yes.
I haven't.
Hell yeah. I watched the episode yesterday.
Nice.
I know the scene because I saw the anime and I know what's going on, yeah.
Sometimes I don't know what is 3D and what's like 2D, and I appreciate that.
I notice it, but my eye is also trained to recognize it.
You didn't show the part where he got activated.
I usually recognize it in the animation because it feels like more floaty.
Oh, that goes hard.
Yes.
Damn!
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
Whoa, was that 3D?
Oh, that was 3D though, right?
Yeah, like I can't tell like which parts are 3D and 2D. I think they blended it quite well in this fight.
It's a part of Yakuza.
Are those
Spoiler.
I love choreography fights in anime.
Me too.
Imagine getting punched by a chainsaw.
Oh no, that's scary.
It's also, you know, that thing of like when characters fall out of frame and the camera like barely follows them.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yes.
Oh.
But yeah, you can see the clothes in some parts.
Yeah, like that a bit.
Yeah.
This.
That's 3D.
Yeah.
But like when they don't move, it looks 2D.
It's very well integrated though. Thank God they did that because a chainsaw like that thing.
I appreciate 3D in anime. I love 3D.
That's nice.
Oh no, the two guys with the gun. Oh no.
They bring guns to a chainsaw fight.
Fucking kills them.
NPC 1, NPC 2 are dead. Oh no.
Oh, what a shame. Who would have thought that their generic designs meant that they were gonna die?
Yeah, that camera angle, holy shit.
Oh man, the compositing.
Disorienting.
Because, oh, so nice. He's a fucking idiot. Denji's a dumbass.
Fucking gets shot.
Ooh.
He could have just used his head, you know?
For one moment I thought he put his head into that dude.
He could just do
The tongue.
I love how his katanas are like this, so he can just do that.
Yeah.
Well, he has to do this.
Yeah. Is a yes man and is a no man.
But I will
That
kill
was
him.
a really nice and subtle animation. All of that.
Oh man.
Omawa mo shindeiru.
Goodbye, Denji. This was episode 9 of Chainsaw Man. Chainsaw Man is an anime based on the same titled manga by Tatsuki Fujimoto. It's animated by Studio Mappa. I have some behind-the-scenes animation by animators who worked on the show. These videos are from Twitter.
Okay.
Thank you, Bluebird.
It's crazy just how much pen mileage is in a single frame. If you took all the lines and you put them after each other, it would be very, very long, and that is a pencil mileage. For every frame, there's just a lot of work and a lot of money.
You really get to see how detailed anime is compared to Cartoon Network animation or Klaus. Not saying that the quality is worse in any of these examples, but they don't go in and draw tiny, tiny, tiny details.
I like how the effects frame the character, like how it goes in a swirl. It's very nice.
Smart also how they work with layers, moving them outwards. That's very smart. And it's also cheaper than to really animate every single step.
Yeah.
Fucking FX and the shadows on the FX.
It's all completely 2D, so that's just an animator that's sick as fuck. These scenes are cut together of multiple different animators, and I think you can really feel where the style switches are. Like, this is one animator with the colored characters. This is another animator. Again, another animator that is way rougher with his line style, right? I really appreciate that you see the different people that worked on a big shot.
Oh, I love seeing these rough animation. It also feels like more individual work styles than like production.
Okay, that's the 3D part.
Ew! I did not notice that he licked his face.
Genji's 3D here. I honestly couldn't tell, that looks amazing.
I mean, yeah, you can kind of tell with like the teeth.
But it looks like the shader is really good. And honestly, yes, I would understand like to have a 3D head for that, because animating that in perspective would be hell, and it would cost so much. And like this, it looks great.
How I noticed this is these little shadows are too detailed. If that was a 2D drawing, they would have combined these shadows. So these are like hints Plus the line weights here is all the same thickness. Meanwhile here you can feel the pressure. These lines are softer than these lines.
Can I just rave about how far 3D came in anime to look like 2D?
100%.
Actually, the shader is very nice.
Like compared to Demon Slayer, there are so many shots from far away. The characters are really small. And you can see that they're kind of generic walk cycling.
But I really like from this, the mix. When they go from a shot to another, you don't feel really the change between the 3D and 2D.
Like the only
really...
change you feel is that suddenly everything is very three-dimensional in the movement.
The only thing are the clothes.
And I think that's what gives it away most. But they did a really, really good job. It's kind of a blink and you miss it if you don't know how to look for 3D in these shots. So they did a really good job.
And I love when they do this, because you only really need to draw the thing that really changes. So if the rest of the face doesn't change much, then you just change the thing that actually matters. If you redrew everything but you didn't do it right, then it's gonna all jitter. And that's going to be way more distracting.
2D animation in Chainsaw Man also feels so three-dimensional.
The 2D also fits very well in with the 3D because the 2D is so detailed.
What also a lot of people don't realize is that even if this is a completely 2D scene and like the animator is very, very fucking talented, it can be that the animator had a 3D layout and to have a very strong dynamic angle still involves a lot of skill on the 2D animator side, but helps keep everything consistent.
Layouting is basically the backgrounds or how the background moves in the camera.
The storyboard can be very rough, and before you give that to an animator, you need to kind of tie it down, and it's like a blueprint that can be used for animation.
That seems to has been done in 3D, but like everything else, like the animation, has been done in 2D.
When you use 3D space, you have a camera, you can think live action, it becomes more cinematographic, yeah.
I like how Chainsaw Man also really embraces the stylization of these smears. They really go for the zigzag, which like, it makes sense. It's like rounded because of the force. The same principle as breaking a limb, but it's because of the force, it's like bending.
I think I need to mention here, there was a big shitstorm after episode 1. Some people said, wow, look at the 3D, it's really, really, really good. Anime fans associate 3D in anime equals bad. People were like, what are you talking about? There was no 3D, that is all really good 2D. There was 3D in that episode. 3D was very well implemented. Some people didn't even notice it. If we in this episode are talking about why we noticed the 3D, that doesn't mean we think it's bad. We want to analyze it.
I find this impressive
Yes.
as hell.
Yeah.
This is so clean.
Yeah.
What the fuck? This man was like, this is my money shot. Let me just put my whole animussy in it.
Wait, in here they didn't draw the chain on the...
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What Chainsaw Man achieved that other anime weren't able to do is that the 3D that is in there doesn't take you out of the experience. 2D and 3D are tools. As long as you get the end result, it doesn't matter which tools you used. It just needs to be epic, and Chainsaw Man is.
What 3D can do, what 2D can't do in less time, is dynamic camera actions around a character or something. It's a tool they used fucking well.
I love that they also included the handle of the katana at the back of his head. What if somebody just like...
If you look at the design of the character here...
You mean that the Chainsaw Man and
Yeah,
Katana
the direction of the katana is different.
So the chainsaws go all the way his forearm while he is out of his like Spider-Man.
And you see the background and the character move at different frame rates.
It conveys constant movement. If we had the character and the background move at the same time, it would feel very choppy.
It hasn't been long since the anime industry in Japan has moved to digital. With Attack on Titan, for example, they still insisted on drawing on paper until the animators told them, we have 3D backgrounds instead of printing them out. Let us do it digitally. And so the anime industry switched into digital. Animating on different frame rates while they're interacting is something you can do in digital very, very easily. Meanwhile, if it was paper, it would be a pain to draw one character on one paper and then the other character on another paper and then offset them in post.
The effects are crazy.
Like, look at the spit. I would never say this about anything else, but this spit, you know, like, wow.
Look at how the shadow here has like a slight gradient going from
Yes.
like a more yellowish to a
Yeah.
more bluish. Impact
Wow.
frame!
The blur on the sparks and the gradient. Oh, it's just, I'm a compositing, I have a compositing kink.
There's also so much, like, blurred out. Like, they work so much with the camera.
if this was drawn in 2D, there would be more shape control in arms. These are usually drawn not as thick.
The deformation of the sleeves is very soft.
Cloth in 3D is very stiff. Do I know if they drew on top or if that's the full 3D model or if they only exported the lines and then colored it in 2D? There's like multiple different ways to do this.
Yeah, the head is definitely always 3D.
Yeah, the camera is very nice. Yeah.
This is very 3D as well. But it works. Because probably if this had been drawn by a person, they probably would have been like, because it adds a lot of drama.
The weight is different. This movement as he like shifts his weight. The jacket too. It's not a bad thing. Also, if you don't notice it when you're watching it, or you do notice and you don't mind, it's a hell of a good show. I think as an animator, you spend so much time analyzing movement. We notice a lot more minute details about it.
I like the color.
Do you think that they...
Okay.
Vive la révolution!
I think 3D can be a very good tool for 2D. Mix of 2D and 3D we saw in the last years, it can be done very well.
Otherwise, if it's like, oh, don't use 3D in anime, it's like, okay, then don't use 3D to look like 2D. Don't do Klaus and don't do Spider-Verse, you know? And I feel like that's a very narrow mindset. I agree that sometimes if it's poorly executed, you might be like, ugh, why does anime even try? But if you don't try, you'll never perfect it.
Like Mappa is crazy, honestly. I think Mappa with Jujutsu Kaisen and Chainsaw Man set a new standard for the anime industry of how to use 3D. Honestly, props to them.
Did a good job.
They animated the ground! It's this interplay of chainsaw guy, blade guy, and the ground and the camera, and they're all moving around each other.
Everything is moving.
I also love how snappy like action scenes are. It takes them like longer to settle out of this pose, and then in the next
boom.
shot he like
Yeah.
already goes
That
4
would
frames over
never
here.
happen in Western animation. I love
It's
it.
like very impact focused
Yeah.
compared to like realism focused.
Yeah. It's why we love anime, no?
Yeah.
Oh, the smear frame, I like it.
It's France.
That is cool character design, I will say. Like, that is a cool ass silhouette.
It's also interesting how Denji doesn't fight with his chainsaws as much. He like kicks and punches more than he like actually does chainsawing.
I'm glad they did Denji in 3D. The people would have had to draw his head. Not even the Genga animators, the cleanup animators. I'd rather have a 3D Denji than overworked animators.
Well, I mean, I bet they're still overworked.
Oh no.
Ah. Oh, you were right. They forgot it. Oh, wait, no. Can he retract them?
In the second? No.
Ah,
okay.
he can retract
Okay,
them.
then-
Never mind. It's not a mistake. I guess it makes sense because otherwise he would have died instantly.
Yeah,
Imagine. It's like, he's gonna die. Oh, shit.
Ooh, wait, was that a
Beautiful.
smear? We only see this for like 2 or 3 frames. Oh, look at how detailed it is.
The pose of the save animation style.
Nani? Omae wa mou.
Shinderu.
Nani? The person doing Nani is him. It's not even
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here you see it. They switch between this image texture and this image texture.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the animation. It's very, very nice.
Yeah.
I also like the characters, how they're like very flawed in a way. Like they're not like perfect shonen protagonists. I find that very like interesting. It's definitely something fresh.
But no, it's really cool. It's Mappa, so obviously. Where's the adolescent's ice Mappa?
We are waiting for Jujutsu Kaisen.
Are we though? I'm waiting for my boys. Okay. Anyway, thank you.